All right. Thank you all for coming through. I'll do a brief introduction. Roy Wanguhu, co-founder of The Vine, and also a cinematographer. I've been a cinematographer for over 2 decades. And we're living in an interesting time. So now we're moving into merging those two worlds, cinematography, and I've been working in the AI space, working with different clients, creating content in AI, but still bringing the skills that I have in cinematography, in filmmaking, in video production, into the space of AI. So I'll start with one video that we created for a client, and then part of this is not heavily in AI, but it's going to be how do we use the tools that are available in the AI space to help us tell the stories that we do tell, and also what does AI bring to the table, and how well can we be able to utilize it. So I'll start with the video, and then I'll break it down. I won't get very technical. That's for another conversation. Feel free, but we'll start with the video first when you're ready.
For 15 years, Alex built expertise in operational strategy. A veteran, an expert, but somewhere along the way, his expertise became his limit. He wanted to grow, but couldn't see how. He'd watch colleagues working in other departments like marketing and customer success, wondering what it would take to make that leap. He tried the usual route. Job boards, internal postings, even his mentor couldn't see how to bridge the gap. The tools just weren't there. Then his company introduced Eightfold Talent Management, a new platform designed to unlock internal talent to help employees discover what they could become. Alex built his skills profile, adding every project, every capability, every strength he developed over 15 years. AI didn't look at his job title. It looked at his skills, and it revealed something unexpected, a role he'd never considered: customer enablement strategist. His compatibility score, 82%. The platform mapped his experience in ways he'd never considered. His process design, that translated to customer journey mapping, his stakeholder management, client enablement, cross-functional leadership, team collaboration. Skill after skill, the connections became clear. The platform showed him he wasn't limited by what he'd done. He was enabled by it. It gave him something he didn't have before: the courage and conviction to apply. 6 months later, Alex's team had the highest customer satisfaction scores in the division.
I would never have applied for this role. I didn't think I had the right skills, but Eightfold Talent Management showed me what I could be.
The future isn't just something that happens to us. It's something we build together.
This is what happens when AI serves human potential. It doesn't define you by your past. It unlocks your future. Eightfold, AI for human potential.
Thank you. All right. Once we start. So that was the project that came to us. They just had an idea of what they wanted. They leaned on us for scripting, building out a proper story for them. Now, they're an AI company. They want it all done in AI. So that was the ask. So for us, it was, how do we create a structure, build a story for them, right? This is one of the biggest questions that we all get, right? Is AI going to replace filmmakers? So how many people have heard this or have been asked? All of us, right? That's the fear. But this does make sense, right? With everything that we see in the technology that's being developed, it does make sense, yes. In a way, we should be afraid, but I think understanding it is part of the deal that we can actually be able to make. So when we look at AI, what it can be able to do, it's a machine. It can write, it can edit, it can animate, it can do a lot of things that it takes different people to be able to do, right? But what are we really afraid of? That's a question that I think we should be asking ourselves. The biggest thing that I see is our jobs, right? As filmmakers, our jobs is what, basically it's not the AI, it's actually our jobs that we are trying to create security for. And our jobs, are they gonna be relevant in a few years? So how I approach this is what it's not gonna change is storytelling. And that's the reason why we got into this field, and that's the reason why we do what we do. It's mostly the storytelling aspects of things. So for us, or for me, how I looked at it is, how do I reframe this question so that I can be able to understand and use the tools to do what I do best, right? Which is storytelling. So one thing I feel like AI has done for us is we can be able to do more than we could before. Or how many people did we need to get what we can be able to achieve? The video I just showed you has multiple locations, we were we were at a coffee shop. We were, you can be any place that you want to, you can create any backdrop that you want to. That has reduced the time that for me as a cinematographer, I would have to travel to go to all these places to create the project that we just did there, right? So my question is, what can I create now that I couldn't create before? And that's the use of the tools that we are currently using. So I'm gonna quickly run through the experiment that we actually did, which is the project. I treated that as an experiment. That was our 5th or 6th AI video that we've had to do for clients. But the tools are getting better. So the reason why I went with that is I took it from the beginning and made sure I marked all the tools that we went through for that journey of creating this. So to be able to get those results, I'm gonna walk you guys through just the creative process, the thought process, and the tools that we are using. You don't have to use the tools that we use. You can pick any of them, and afterwards you can ask me any questions you have about the tools. So one of our tools, I'm a big fan of this tool. It's called Manus AI. Right now it's owned by Meta, but it was an outside company. I use this specific tool for research and development. Meaning, how do I look at it? It would have taken me time. We get the concept, we get the idea. I have to go understand the brand, the company, what they do, go through their website, look at the language that they actually use, figure out messaging. And I'm not in the AI space of engineering, so how can I be able to simplify that to be able to reach a broader audience without having to spend too much time? So Manus was our research tool, and I will put this out there for anyone who's actually prompting. If you're getting into it or already prompting, one thing to understand is you have to treat the tools as individuals. And what I mean is, if you're using an AI tool, you have to give it context of who you want it to be. So there's the idea of you go type in, I'm looking for flowers, or I'm creating a video, but who are you creating this video? Are you the script writer? Are you the research expert? So you have to give it context of where are you coming from? Who am I interacting with? And that from there, it can become a better researcher for you. So for us, you're a research agent, that's what I need, but you're in the industry of AI. This is a company that we're working for, and we're trying to uncover this. So we have trained Manus, meaning we've given it context as a video agency, so it knows our identity. So us going in there, it already knows, okay, this is Elewa Media, this is what they do, and this is one of the clients that they onboarded, and they need to understand a little bit about the client that they're going to be serving. So it's not guessing and giving you broad information, it's very specific to the details that you actually want it to give you back. So that's one of our first entry tool that we start with, which is research and development. Our next tool, move to Claude. I like Claude because it's a better writer. So compare that to ChatGPT, and different people have different conversations. ChatGPT is more of a generalist. It has a lot of information. When I'm writing or scripting or modifying scripts, Claude has a better understanding of language. So we've had better success in terms of writing using Claude or just editing scripts that we've already written and creating better structures. Our next tool will be the one I just spoke about before, ChatGPT. Good translator, good writing the script, language, Claude. Structuring the information, it has a broad context, it's a broader context model, which is ChatGPT. So you're able to structure a lot of information because it has more information of all the tools that you'd use, right? So for us, how I use it is I will write the prompt that I want and I will send it to ChatGPT to enhance my prompt based on the tool that I'm going to. So if I'm using VO3 and I know what exactly I want to create, I will go to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to fine-tune that prompt for me for VO3 specifically. Because it's an AI talking to an AI tool. If you look at them that way, they can talk to each other a little bit better. So enhancing my prompt through ChatGPT or structure, just creating the structure that I need. I've given it all the information that I need. I just want you to structure it for me. Next tool, 11 Labs. All the voiceover that you heard in the piece that I had, all that was recorded in 11 Labs, other than the voice of the person, which was VO3 that we used to generate that. There are other tools out there. I've found 11 Labs has been improving over time. You're able to get different voices, different languages. So big fan of the tool for quick work. Now, we don't use it for everything, but one thing that I found as a video agency, we'll use it with our clients on our first, second revision. But when you go to the final, we send our, what do you call them? Sorry. Voice of a person. So voice artists. So that's how actually we started using 11 Labs. To save us time with our client, we'll find a voice, we use it, matches the speed, matches the cadence, and then when you go to the final, we send it to our voice of a person, everything is done, everything is approved by client, and we have the final voice. So that saves time, and our voiceover artist doesn't have to spend time based on the revisions that the client has. So that has been a good cost saving for them, and also time saving for us having to go back and forth.
I would never have applied for this role. I didn't think I had the right skills. But Eightfold Talent Management showed me what I could be.
This is just part of the prompting, right? Just based on experience as a cinematographer, I still want to have at least my voice or just what I understand, right? How do I want that image to be created, right? 10 seconds, language. I love shooting with ARRI, so I'll throw ARRI there. I'll throw anamorphic lenses in there. Framing, is it a medium shot? Where do I want my character to be placed? So I will type this all in, but I'm typing it as a block of text. And then I will take this to ChatGPT and be like, can you just organize this so I can feed it to VO3? It's just simple using one tool to the other, and it simplifies that. But that's when you're fine-tuning. If you're fine-tuning, those are a few things that you need to consider. Your lighting, you don't want to depend on AI to give you that for you. If you want audio, if you don't want audio, you can be able to actually put that in your prompt when you're feeding it to VO3. You'll see part of my prompt involves a subject, but that's because across the whole video, we were using the same character. And my character was Alex Chen, who I created with Nano Banana for that. And then I built that into a video. So I have my character that consistently, when I'm using VO3, that's the character that I want you to use. This is the likeness that I want you to keep using, so I can have the character consistency. And that's all the video was. VO3 plus a few other tools. Kling was in play in there. But most of the video was through VO3. So as much as we're using all these AI tools, and I know there's a lot of vendors in the industry who are selling us how to edit videos faster, for us, we still resort back to the same things we know. So we'll use Premiere, we'll use DaVinci Resolve, or Final Cut. Same NLEs that we've been using to be able to tell the same stories. So for music, mastering, everything, we'll still go back to how we know how to edit. So for most of this, we'll sit down with our editor and be able to still work on everything as we would on any other project. So what did I learn from all this? Most of this didn't replace what I do as a filmmaker, right? It, in a way, actually amplified what I was able to do on this, right? So I love shooting on location, but in this case, that's not what the client wanted to do. So I still had to find a way to tell the story that they wanted to tell. And the tools that I was able to find through AI helped me do that in this case. So I was able to focus more on, for us, for most of these projects, it will take us a couple of months if that's what we're doing. We have to find crew, we have to build our team together to be able to go to location to be able to do this. But since we had the time to actually create it in studio, we focused more on building the story, creating better prompts, ideating with the team, just to be able to get where we need to. And that is the difference between using AI as a tool and what we would do on location. So back to the question at the beginning, right, of what AI is doing, right, is if you understand some of the tools that are out there, you can actually become a better. Not everyone has the complete talent to tell these stories from beginning to end. But in this case now, you can use some of these tools to start introducing yourself in some of these spaces. If you're not a better script writer, you can now improve to do that. Image generation, not every project will require you to AI generate, but using the tools that are becoming available, you can actually be able to do that. To be a better storyteller, to ideate a little bit better, storyboarding. Those are the tools that we are currently using on this. Saves us time, saves our artists time to actually be able to, draw the storyboards that we used to draw for any project that we're working on. So if anyone is getting into it, I think, what is the key takeaway? Still learn the tools and still learn how to use these tools, because what we've learned from school, how to tell stories, we're just moving that into more of a technology kind of space. And me rushing through it, but to me, creativity isn't being replaced, it's just being amplified. So thank you all. This was my first time presenting this. I've been moving through it, but I appreciate any feedback on this. Go ahead. I have. And the first project, actually, that's what it was, right? When we started on the AI space, part of it was I was using it as filler in between, because I've worked in virtual world, and part of the idea is having a physical object or something that people can relate to, that they already know what familiarity is, helps you get away with what is not okay. So at the beginning, yes, I was doing a lot of that. and still do, but not with character consistency. It's more B-roll based on the projects. But yeah. That's an interesting question because that's one I think if someone has an answer, we can chat. Because the hardest thing becomes subscriptions, right? You're token based, right? So as cheap as the client might think it is, at the end of the day, you have like VO3. For us, we have to have 2 accounts because you'll max out like how many, and that was a little earlier. So you can generate as many as you can on one account, and then you have to jump to another one, or you go to tools like FreePick to be able to get at least access to those. So it can get pricey.
Yeah, because I had to budget a AI treatment for a client, but never bought the tools, never used them. Okay, from my knowledge of the tools that exist, $25,000. They're like, okay, let's go for it. But like, I'm literally almost like pulling the numbers out of my ass, out of my best understanding of it. And still thinking it's not going to be enough. For the time I'll be spending prompting away, trying many errors, and until I land on something that's satisfying.
It's a hard.
How do you actually price it?
That is true. It's a hard mystery, and one thing that slowly you figure out, you still have to be present in there, right? So your hours still have to account to something, right? It's not going to create itself just because I'm typing it in, but you still have to be present on that to be able to do it a little bit better. But I've been asking the same questions. I think I had a conversation with Matt about that recently in terms of how do you price this when you're creating this for clients?
Thank you. That was really good for the first presentation. You put it together really well and visually and conceptually. Thank you.
Thank you.
I've been wrestling with a little bit of this, but obviously not so that like you are. But I wonder from an audience standpoint and a client standpoint, at what stage of this revolution do we have to ask ourselves, and can we test, are we getting high on our own supply? Like, is this actually connecting with people emotionally?
That's a good point, right? Like, I think I might be wrong, right? I don't think it will connect with every single person, but it's always improving, and it will find its niche. Same way you had animation. It will have its own niche of what kind of stories can you use this tool for, but guess what? It'll still keep improving. But yes, the connection is totally different, right? So I'm not sure where it's going to end up at, but right now, if you're talking about emotional connection, I don't think it's it. But who knows what 5 years it looks like, or even a month with the rate that they're moving at. Yeah, exactly, right? At the rate they're moving,
Piggyback on that, like we might even create that same produced video and then up-res everything to you to find pristine perfection. Like, hey, great.
Exactly. I know, right? That is true. Go ahead.
Kind of going off that, how do you determine when you need to use or want to use AI? Is it mostly to do with budget, or are you able to kind of like find that balance?
With a project like this, some of them the client is, I want to use AI. Everyone wants to use the newest tool. It's an AI company and they want to lean into it. And of course, when they, for this, when they look at it, they want to do more shorter videos. Shelf life or something like that, I think personal, but the shelf life is not that long.
As a cinematographer, do you find you use it more, or is it like nowadays? Or?
I love shooting, so I have like 5. You see, I'm wearing 3 mics. I still love the process of creating, but also I think just with that is I'm still inputting the things that I like to, I want to use this camera. I'm trying to bring that, or I'm trying to incorporate that into what I'm generating.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I actually thought that was one of the best because I used to shoot more, but you know, the idea that you can type in like all your favorite toys and have those render is like that's like super cool. Yeah, very cool.
And I think that's a winning part, right? Like we have these conversations of, as you know, cinematographers, directors, like bringing that voice back in. You know, anyone can prompt, but I think a better prompt person will actually be able to get better results. So the background of like what you've done over all this duration of time can be an asset into what you're creating.
Did you create all of the, like I'm thinking about the post on that thing, like, did you create all of the images before you started editing? Or did you create some images and start editing and figure that you needed more, so you create more to fill in gaps? Or?
So since this, you know, the story was already complete and what we needed, I just sat with our editor and I was prompting and creating all those, and then we just dropping them in. You know, if the image is not good enough, we pull that and then create another. That was faster, and you know, most cases we'll just create all the assets and then we move to that. But since we already had an idea about what our storyboard looked like, we're just working together in collaboration. In other sense, I would probably sit and just finish and do that, but since we were both of us in the room, we were able to, you know, hand off the files. They add it, we see the pacing, we see all that. So that sped up our timeline.
So everything was created, for this, right?
Everything.
From the voiceover.
Yes.
Okay, cool. But the final voice for it was the voice actor.
Nope, that was still AI. I didn't change on that one. I just kept, that was all AI. The process of how we deal with just our regular clients this one was 100% AI.
Just a question on that. How you mentioned this using the ownership Alex Chen.
Yes.
Right. So how did you? What was the process of keeping that consistent?
So there's multiple ways of, and we're doing that. It's more of like, in this case, it's not a model training, but I'll take one image of the character that I really like. I'll take it back actually to Nano Banana and be like, give me like different, you know, variation of them looking side and all that. And then I'll just do a board of those features and do like a one page. And then I'll load that back. Every time I'm prompting on VO3, I'll load that as my character, but I'm also calling them Alex Chen. So continuously, I'm just still building on the same person. Reference, that's the only thing that you're using. Yeah. It's gotten better now with, you know, VO3 to be able to do that.
And what do you think on the final result? Do you think his space is consistent?
His space was consistent across. Yeah, yeah.
I try to play with my picture in Banana every time to give a different result, like not to mention the previous results.
Oh, when you're doing the image prompt? Yes. Should be able to, yeah. It's interesting. It should be able to give you consistent. On Nano Banana is just to create, take the look, and actually you can even tell it to actually do it for you. Like do a 4-page, whatever, or just a 4-screen of the same exact character, you know, doing different things.
So many times in like saying like, hey, keep the face the same. Don't make any changes to the face. And there is never me.
I'm not sure. We can test it and check it out.
Roy knows that I'm a big proponent of filmspark.ai.
Yes.
I highly recommend checking out that host application. It runs all the models, so you can use Veo in there or Nano Banana, but it has an assets tab in the web app where you just put all of your actors in there. And then later when you're making a shot, you just choose that actor and he will go into your shot. And it'll be consistent through the whole thing, locations, props, actors.
Is that an
full
aggregator?
Consistency.
Is that an aggregator?
It's called filmspark.ai.
Is it an aggregator or is it its own platform?
It's basically a host application that runs all the models as plugin renderers, if you think of it like that. If you you think of a program like a 3D application like Maya, you could choose a plugin renderer to render to V-Ray or to render to Octane. This is the host application like the Cinema 4D or the After Effects to render to each of these different models. But it gives you that ability to control consistency incredibly well. And I presented it at was.
And yeah, it's.
Filmspark.ai. It used to be called movieflow.ai.
You guys changed the name again? I was like, it's Movie Flow. So on the Vine's Instagram, Movie Flow, Matt presented about it. And to add on that is, it ends up being cheaper in the long run, especially if you're budgeting something, because you have all these models in one space. So you can test you can test clean, you can test any of those models compared to paying for each individual subscription. That can also get expensive.
Credits to filmspark.ai, and then you have access to all the models. So if you're rendering to one, it might be 30 credits. If you're rendering to Veo, it might be 150 credits. So you could you would see 30 different models right in front of you, and you could filter it and say, I only want to see models that have first frame, last frame interpolation. I want to see models that can do voiceover. We've been missing the host application to run these models over the last 3 years. Unless you were diving in a comfy UI where you need to go to GitHub and compile stuff, and it's not, even for my studio where I have technical directors, it's a pain in the neck. Once we got to this year, 2025 was the year where we got hosts. We got FilmSpark AI and Weavy is the other one I highly recommend. Weavy is a node-based AI compositing system that was acquired by Figma a few months ago. Highly recommend, but I feel like MovieFlow, MovieFlow is like Adobe Premiere. If you know how to use Premiere, you'll find it a linear process. Weavy is if you know Nuke. If you're like a compositor who's doing hardcore visual effects and compositing, we'd be better, but it's changed the game for how you can control this stuff and actually create longer form content.
And I will throw Free Pick in there too. Free Pick. I'm a big fan of theirs. Yeah, I think it's the same conversation of understanding how we use these tools, right? On a video perspective, it helps the interface and how you interact with those. I think is the most. Exactly. Yes. Yes. No, so good to know that you guys changed the name.
Apparently there was a guy, the Chinese website was
MovieFlow
with a W, so like,
wow.
Copying what we're doing.
They're living in the future, just overnight, you just flip the name. But thank you all. I appreciate all the time. If anything, please reach out to me, follow me on LinkedIn. It's just my name, Roy Wanguhu, and I'm on Instagram too. But I appreciate you guys' time. I don't want to be in the middle of you guys and happy hour.